very interesting. So, welcome. And it's all about leasing strategies that work. We want to give you the goods to prepare you for what's about to happen over the next 3 to 4 months. We have a great panel who is here. We have Jason, who is a senior sales manager with TriCap, and wait till you guys hear how TriCap does their leasing. Jennifer is with Heritage Property Rentals. And when I say residents are happy at Heritage, just wait till you see their online reviews. And then we also have Kara, cannot forget about Kara. Kara is with Paradise Property Management, and their scores are off the charts. So Jason, would you like to give a quick hello to the group?
Hi all, how's everybody doing?
Nice. And Jennifer, how about you? How's it going?
Good afternoon, everybody.
And Kara, welcome, welcome.
Hi there. Thanks for having me, Leah.
Love it. Thanks everyone for joining. So all of these webinars that we have been doing so far have been sponsored by Pinwheel, and we are very grateful for their support because their support as sponsors allow us to have these webinars for free. So I'm just going to launch a quick video that talks about what Pinwheel is all about. All right. So once again, thanks so much to Pinwheel. You guys check them out. They have some really, really great products and services. So I have a special announcement. I'm not sure if you all are aware, but we have added a brand new team member to the education team, and her name is Melissa. Melissa is our Director of Client Performance. She joined us at the beginning of this month, and we are super excited to have her. Going forward, Melissa is going to be moderating the power panel. So you guys will get very familiar with her and her expertise when it comes to all things related to multifamily. So, Melissa, I want to say a quick hello.
Hello, everyone. So excited to be here.
Welcome, welcome. Melissa and I have really become true thought partners. Her brain works in sync with mine, and I think it is just so helpful. So welcome to Melissa. So happy to have you as well. This session is going to go about 60 minutes if we have a lot of Q&A. If not, we might end a little early. We have a follow-up email which will have the recording and the slides. We do a live Q&A. So if you missed the code to join the Q&A, you want to go to menti.com and type in the code 436 76264. And don't worry if you don't get it all. I'm going to have more slides in here reminding you of the code and where to go to do the Q&A. We'd love for you to participate in our exit survey. It helps us really to shape future sessions that we do. Any comments, any topic suggestions, all of that would be super helpful. You can sign up for next month from the follow-up email and wait till the end. I'm going to show you how or tell you how you can win a $50 Starbucks gift card. Who couldn't use a really nice hibiscus tea right now? I love those things from them. If this is your first power panel, please go to our on-demand channel. We do have you straight on our website. We have a lot of other power panels that you may have missed. You can catch up there. So poll, launching a quick poll. You're going to see it pop up right on your screen. And this is based on 2019 data from our online renter study. How many renters would you say in 2019 researched their community before making any kind of contact? Any contact at all? Just click on the option right on your screen. Is it 50%, 75%, 85%, or 100%? All right, I'm at 62% of the vote. I'm going to wait till I get to 70, 75. Again, click right on your screen. Flip a coin if you're not quite sure. All right, there we are, 75%. So the majority of you say that it was 85%. Um, and you are absolutely right. We are getting ready to launch another round of our online renter study. That is going to be our 2021 study. It's a study that we do every 2 years. I can bet sure money that that number is going to be higher because think about it. Last year, that was pretty much the only option that a lot of people had. They had to start their search online. They weren't able to just walk into your office and say, hey, I want to see a 2-bedroom apartment. They had to first get all of the goods before they showed up. So the virtual journey or the traditional leasing journey has completely changed for renters today. And I think it's important to understand that, knowing what you all are going to be encountering over the next few months. So when someone needs an apartment home, John is looking for a home. He starts by searching generic terms. And I put Atlanta in here because that's where I live, but it's very generic search terms. You don't have a lot of prospects who are going to flat out search your name. They have to first find out that you exist. This is how they know you are even a community that has apartment homes available. So they do the very generic search. Once they've done that search, they continue to collect more information until they're able to get to what's called the zero moment of truth. This is a phrase that was termed by Google, and it basically talks about gathering information online. They can find you on your community website, your ILSs, they read your reviews, they look at your virtual tours, they might even stalk your social media, check you out online before they make that contact. So the zero moment of truth right now is going to be a very critical moment for the prospects who are looking. And our experts today are going to talk about how you can make the most of that zero moment of truth. Once they found you, once they've made contact, they want to check out the community. This is the first moment of truth. The reason that they want to check out the community is they want to make sure what they saw online holds true in real life. And the bulk of our session, most of the questions that we're going to be throwing out to the panelists have to do with that first moment of truth. Because here's the thing, if they've already looked at you online and make contact, they're interested. You're half of the way there to getting them to say yes. All you have to do is make good on that online perception. So we make good on that online perception, easier for you to get a yes from the prospect during the visit. Then once that person moves in, they are now contributors to the wisdom of the crowd. They have the opportunity to give their feedback on their resident experience. This is the second moment of truth. Now, the thing with the second moment of truth is that it can be a good thing or it can be a not so good thing. And it all comes down to that first day at your community. Believe it or not, when a resident moves in, how they feel about that day means, did I make a good choice? or did I not make a good choice? And if they feel like they made a bad decision, it's a very hard to get them out of that negative sort of frame of mind about your community. You have to work twice as hard to get them to have confidence in you again, to get them to trust you again. And when you say everything's going to be great when you come to move in, they're going to question everything going forward if that's not the case. So we're going to talk to the panelists about how they make sure that move-in day is as smooth as possible for the new resident, because how that resident feels is going to translate into what they say about your community. So communities, you really don't stand a chance with your prospects if they cannot move beyond the 0 moment of truth. So the things that they find out about you online, the things that they say that are said about your community, the things that they see when they look at your websites and when they look at your ILS listings and things like that. If that part doesn't make them feel confident, they're not going to move on to the first moment of truth. They're not going to move on to that moment when they're contacting you. Now, when it comes to the first moment of truth, if you're unable to match that online idea that I have in my head, I know what the pool is supposed to look like, I know what the home is supposed to look like, the grounds, things like that. If you're not able to match that, it's going to be really tough to close because it just doesn't, it's not in sync. It's something's weird. Something's not matching apples to apples. But if you are able to close and they move in, this is going to impact what they say about that experience. So you got to make good on the decision to lease, because that's going to impact someone else's 0 moment of truth. Remember, these new residents are now contributors of the crowd itself. I think someone is unable to hear me. Everyone has a little hand icon. If you can hear me, can you please click on that hand icon? Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a global thing. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone. You may have to turn your speakers up if you're unable to hear. You can also, why am I saying that? They can't hear. Hang on, everyone. I'm going to send a quick message. Okay. All right. So that second moment of truth is pivotal, because if that move-in goes great, they are giving more confidence to the next prospect who is considering your community. If the move-in does not go so well, that could lead to, I'm not quite sure if this is going to be the place for me. Let me put this on, the bottom of my list and keep looking at other places. I might come back to it. So we got to make sure that all 3 of these phases, the 0 moment of truth, the first moment of truth, and the second moment of truth, are going really well for your community. So I'm going to turn things over to our panel. I'm going to ask them a few questions and let them share their expertise. If you missed that code for the live Q&A, here you go. You go to menti.com 436-76264. And don't worry, we'll have a repeat of it as well. So Jason, I said to the group that you have a very unique setup when it comes to leasing. Can you share with the group how TriCap does how you all work with your prospects?
Absolutely. So first I'll tell you a little bit about how TriCap is structured, and then I'll talk a little bit about how we do leasing.
Yes.
So TriCap owns and operates approximately 3,000 apartment homes across multiple states. Our focus right now is multifamily residential, so that means more larger communities. We have a full leasing team, full maintenance staff, engagement team, executive management team, and we're getting bigger every day. So we have a really great team in place. So my role as a senior sales manager at the company is really fourfold. So mentoring new hires, current team members. It's my job to really be a subject matter expert on our internal sales processes and systems. I always want to focus on providing an exceptional sales experience. So that's number 3. And then 4 is to really monitor our team's KPIs and performance metrics, just to make sure we're headed in really the right direction. In terms of leasing structure, I would classify TriCap as a true virtual leasing company. This means that most of our leasing activity is done remotely. So what that means is we have about 5 or 6 sales managers who are each assigned 3 or 4 communities, and then they're responsible for their portfolio's performance. So, we offer every way possible to tour and communicate. We have virtual tours online. We have pre-recorded video tours. We have chat rooms where we can, meet face-to-face with people. We offer self-guided tours where you can access a lockbox and, go visit the model in person anytime that fits your schedule. Really, it boils down to, as long as our leasing staff has a phone and internet connection, we can lease from anywhere.
Yeah, I think your setup is so interesting. And if anyone out there has questions regarding virtual leasing, here's your expert. This is who you tap into. So use the app. Go ahead and put in any questions that you have about virtual leasing or virtual tours, and we'll definitely throw them out to Jason when we get to that part of the webinar. So, Jason, knowing 2020, I think if you weren't tech savvy, you had to kind of fake it till you make it during 2020. We had a lot of people who never used Zoom before. They never had virtual meetings in their, for work and things like that. But we know that technology doesn't come easy to everybody. So, can you offer up some best practices when working with prospects who might, even now, not yet have that savviness about them? They're just not comfortable with technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think today sometimes it's easy to get carried away with, overdoing it on the technology front. I found that for me, yeah, I think a simple phone call has always been, my biggest weapon. And that may sound, super basic, but for me, a simple phone call has really just been my biggest weapon. One of the things I've always done is what's called a pre-call. So we try to implement this in our, in our sales process. So 15, 20 minutes before their virtual tour, we'll call the prospect and just have a simple conversation. Sometimes people who aren't, necessarily tech savvy, they'll sign up for a tour. They have no idea how to access it, or, don't even know what it is, but they thought that this is what they had to do in order just to talk to somebody. So we'll just call them and, we'll have that conversation. We'll make sure that they want to do a virtual tour, that we actually have what they're looking for. And if so, that's fine. We can move on to the virtual tour. But a lot of times, maybe they just needed a couple questions answered and they're fine with that. And that's all they wanted. So I guess the simple answer is sometimes a simple phone call to answer questions, just keeping it old school, can really help.
I love that pre-call idea, because like you said, sometimes you just kind of assume like, okay, everything's got to be virtual. But
Yep.
that hand holding is that opportunity to kind of build that rapport that you may not have, in that traditional kind of setting. So I love that. Thank you so much. So Jennifer, I know we were talking about the pandemic and how it's changed the renter experience, but it's also changed the leasing experience for those who are doing the job. Um, just thinking about all the challenges. You all participate, your company participates in our unclosed traffic survey, and the 2019 scores were awesome, but 2020 went from, or they were superior in 2019, which is awesome, but they shot up to an exceptional score in 2020. So, in spite of all of these challenges, can you share with those who are on the call today how you all were able to successfully work with prospects in spite of everything? Jennifer, you may be on mute.
Oh, Thank you
There
for
you
the
go.
question. Thank you. We definitely had to change the approach. We started working virtually. We were all working from home, and it really does pose a challenge. While we were allowing folks to do self-guided tours of our models that we have on site, I think just a lot of phone calls, a lot of talking. I think we all were busy on the phones quite a bit, just really painting a picture of what these folks would experience as upcoming residents at any of our properties. Um, so I think for leasing especially, it was different. It just really seemed to work beautifully though, and during this time of the 3 months that we were working at home, we were able to. I believe we took over 60 applications. So we just stayed really busy, and it was just a really interesting time. So we ended up doing some FaceTiming with folks. We had a lot of people that were moving out of state that couldn't travel to see us in Bucks County in person, and do a walkthrough or to at least visit a property and see a model. So a lot of it was FaceTiming, taking videos, sending it to people, walking them through a tour. So we handled it really that way remotely. And it was, I'm finding that people, while we're still doing virtual tours and working that way remotely, people aren't rushing in to take tours with us. So I think they like the virtual part of it or the self-guided tours that they were able to take.
Okay, great. I like how you and Jason are both talking about, the old school and the new school. It's like that hybrid
Yeah.
of everything. You just can't be everything is virtual or everything is, like this is the way we're going to do it, giving that flexibility to the prospect and then, finding those ways to connect as well. That's great advice, great info. Um, Before March of 2020, you had people who would leave their homes at 7 o'clock in the morning, come back 7 o'clock at night. They really just kind of needed a place that was comfortable and, clean and, just could accommodate their kind of lifestyle at that time. Well, working from home, schooling from home, Kara, do you think that all of that has made prospects kind of want different apartment features or community features that they didn't think about before?
Definitely. I think the number one thing that I am seeing prospects asking for is more space.
Mm,
So even if it's just one person, they're looking for two bedrooms. If it's a couple, they're looking for two bedrooms with a den or a three bedroom because they each want their own office space that's different from where they're sleeping and just hanging out in. They need something more than just the four walls that they're looking at every day when they're working from home or doing schooling from home. With outside of the apartment, outdoor spaces become a key amenity for a lot of our prospects. Again, they want something that's not just the same four walls. So we get a lot of people asking about balcony and patio spaces, which unfortunately, being a mid-rise that we are, we aren't able to offer, but we do have two private courtyards. So that's been a huge draw for a lot of the prospects. Some other key features that prospects have asked about are, is there Wi-Fi throughout the community? Is there a business center with a printer so that they can print documents that they might need for work or scan them in? And then package handling. We saw such an increase in package deliveries over the last year and a half. We switched from just a standard package room to package lockers so that we could keep packages more organized, residents could get them, keep them nice and secure, and it's been a huge bonus to our current residents and incoming prospects.
Kara, do you find that you're pointing out things in the home that are, that would lend itself to like working and schooling from home that you might not have like mentioned before?
Oh, for sure, especially when it is just say like a one bedroom, but they mention that they're going to be working from home. I'll point out some areas in the living space or like between the kitchen and the living space, if there's a breakfast bar, how that could make a really good office area, how I've seen other residents maybe set up their office areas. kind of pointing out different areas that they could utilize for that.
Okay, great, great. I think it's always helpful. I've actually seen communities that retrofitted their dining room to be a work from home space. So if they had like in the past it was set up with the table and the chairs, they have actually redesigned it or changed the furniture to be a working from home space or schooling from home space. So yeah, definitely changing things up from how we used to do our business. So knowing that we have this virtual option that has become really attractive to prospects, they like the flexibility, they like being able to have, kind of go at their own pace. Um, Most people that we surveyed for our COVID study, when we were asking them about virtual tours, they said they like the convenience, but they still want a human element some kind of way. So Jason, how do you go about or how do you train your team members to infuse a little personality or find ways to connect with a prospect during that sort of, that virtual leasing journey?
Yeah, so for me, it's all about personality. I don't think you could do this successfully if you weren't being yourself. So I think the biggest thing for me is to really just be yourself. You can't connect with somebody if you're trying to be somebody else. It's just not going to work. So, and this is one thing that I've always done. This is one thing that I've always instructed my team to do is one of the things I like to do is just not talk about business until they're ready. I'll talk about anything, the t-shirt they're wearing, the weather, cars, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's about making the prospect comfortable, because when they're comfortable, they'll tell you exactly what they want. And then it's just a matter of, do I have it or don't I? And at that point, you're not selling anymore. You're just simply providing what they've asked for.
Oh, I like it. I like it. It's like we're just gonna have a conversation, and yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the best way to build a rapport. I think if you hit them hard with business, you want to talk pricing, you want to talk the process of the application. If that comes on too strong, it could definitely backfire. So yeah, let's get them comfortable first. And because going back to our data point, having 85% of the people who check you out online before they make contact, we know that prospects have a list. They have their top 3, their top 5, and they just feel like they need to see everything or get a good feel for everything before they make a decision. So, Kara, what do you think the biggest challenge is right now for getting a first visit lease?
So what we're seeing at our property and in Brownsville area where we are with our comps is we don't always have an apartment to show. Our occupancy in the area has been trending at, 97 to 100% for a lot of the apartments in our area. So when people come to tour, we can do property tours, we can show photos, we can do a 3D, Matterport tour, but they're not always going to be able to see that specific apartment that they want when they come to tour. And we're not a cookie cutter property either. So our 1 bedroom floor plan that's on the website is not the same floor plan for every 1 bedroom we can offer. When we do have a vacant apartment to show, it's few and far between. So I've been trying to cram as many tours as I can in those 1 to 2 days I have a vacant ready to show. So for us, it's really just been they come in with that list of what they want in an apartment. And I'd love to be able to point out specifically in the apartment where we are meeting those wants, but we're not always able to. And so you have to try to sell it through the 3D tours, through the photos, and really walk them through that as if they were in the apartment.
Yeah, so knowing that you may not get that first visit lease, whether that's due to availability, they can't see the actual apartment home, or you're number 3 on their list of 5 and they still have a couple more places, it really is going to come down to the follow up. And I will tell you all this, I train a leasing class for our apartment association here. And part of the class, we talk about follow up. So I had everyone in the class, it's a class of 20 people. I had them all do like an email, send out an email that you're interested in a home. Not one person got a response from any of the communities that they contacted. And so it really kind of shined a light on how important it is to get back with your prospect and how important it is to follow up with the prospects. So Jennifer, I'm going to turn this question. Uh-oh, I think there we go. I'm going to turn this question over to you. How important is it for you to follow up with prospects? And do you have any best practices on how that follow up should go?
Sure. I think it's so important. It's
Ollie,
vital.
Ollie.
So vital. We don't I don't practice hard sales, but I think it's really important. If I'm meeting with someone who toured, I follow up within 24 hours. Either if they prefer a call, I will phone them or send an email. When it's an internet lead, which we have so many of, I try to call them as well rather than just email if I can't get a response for one or two email tries. So I try to follow up, I'd say minimum of 5 times with any lead that I get. And it is right now with the influx and the market that we have, there's so many leads coming in. So it is time consuming, but it's very important.
Wow, so 5 is the magic number. Okay. All right.
sometimes sometimes it is. It's funny. You get all of these leads that come in and you don't get a reply back, and I always question if they're just sending them off and desperate to find housing right now in Bucks County. The market is just so fast, and it's such a seller's market. So we've been fully occupied for some time now with wait lists in place. But we do have things fall through, and we do have people that don't give proper notice and things that open up. So the follow up is key. It's something that's we spend a lot of time on, and it's
Okay.
it's going to be
We'll
utmost important.
we'll take it. I'll take 5. That I like that approach. So they come, they take a look, they decide whether it's right then and there, or maybe after 3 or 4 visits. Sometimes that happens. But once they apply and they get it approved, Jason, you guys are still doing all this virtually. Everything is virtual. So how do you stay in contact? How do you stay connected to that prospect or future resident, kind of leading up to the move-in day?
Yeah, I'll second that. It's all about follow up, follow up, follow up. We have a lot of automated systems that are performed by our CRM. So the CRM carries a lot of that the heavy lifting, but yeah, 100% all about the follow up.
Okay, and are your prospects given kind of like a roadmap to follow, like the things they should do leading up to the move-in day? And are those kind of, are you checking in with them leading up to that move-in day?
Absolutely. So we spend, even after signing the lease, all of our new residents get a move-in packet with what to expect. And then in addition to that, they're assigned an engagement manager who will really take care of anything they need after move-in, and they'll be given their full contact information as well.
Oh, I love that engagement manager. That sounds interesting. Okay, nice. So we know, because we collect the feedback from your renters, we know that the move-in days are going very well. Jennifer, to just kind of, I'm going to throw a question to you in just a sec, but I wanted to show you guys some reviews that are coming from TriCap's portfolio. And we see things like the move-in process was seamless, the communication didn't stop after our approval. So again, these are the people that are contributing to the zero moment of truth of future renters. So we want to really make sure that move-in day is going well. Um, Jennifer's portfolio, for the home being clean at move-in, every single person who participated in the move-in survey year to date said yes, 100%. That is above the SatisFacts index, the national average, and the appliances and fixtures working properly, 100%. And we're not talking we just surveyed two people. They have they have double digits, like high double digits of people who have taken the survey. So it's not. Please don't think the respondent pool is very small. But how do you guys? What do you guys do? What does your team do to make sure that that home is prepared for the new resident? Are you doing multiple walks? Like what's happening that gets you to that 100% year to date
it's
for every new resident?
it's really great to see the feedback, I have to say. So yeah, we have a very thorough process, and we have a really great team, and we work very closely with the maintenance division for our properties. Standards are very high in meeting those marks. We have some things in place to make sure that we're doing that. I mean, firstly, our maintenance staff will begin preparing the homes once they can get in there and get it ready for a new move in. So they take about anywhere from 10 days to 14 days. Our homes are all large townhomes with finished basements. So while they're in there, they have, a huge checklist of things that they're doing, multiple things, calibrating appliances, changing filters, general maintenance. Then we have contractors for painting, adding carpet or flooring when need be. Cleaning, heavy duty cleaning is probably a final step that we have. Once they're finished in there, the leasing staff, we will go through and do a leasing walkthrough inspection, which is very thorough. And when we punch a house, we get our list together, we pass it along back to the maintenance team to, go back in, and anything they missed, they will have addressed it at that point. Then we have another walkthrough with a manager to do an occupancy approval form, and they do a sign off in the house. So we have these checks and balances, to make sure that we're meeting these marks and having happy customers. So it's really great to hear the feedback, and all the work is paying off.
Yeah, it absolutely is. There's no eyeballing your apartments on your final walk. I mean, we're
No,
talking
no,
we're talking
yeah.
white glove treatment happening. So that is fantastic. And the residents are responding. And the thing about giving your residents a great move-in day, getting them to that second moment of truth, is that they will come back for more. So here's a resident at one of Jennifer's communities at Heritage Green who left a review last year in October when they moved in. And then 8 months later has left another review to update, to even talk about more things that are right, that are happy, that's going on. So even if your residents have that great move-in day, we want to keep that experience going so they continue to sing your praises. And on apartment ratings, every review that they leave is in a thread, so it's kind of like a conversation log, so people can literally go and see this is what that person's move-in was like. Here's how great it is now. It's even better 2 years later. I think this is a pretty solid place for me. So this is again why that second moment of truth is really important. And Kara, final question for you and everybody. We're going to open up the Q&A in just a bit. Your community scores are well above the national average, which is an exceptional score, and you guys are at a 4.69, so over almost 2/10 of a point above. What are some of the things you all are doing to make sure everything goes smoothly on day one for your new residents?
Yeah, so with the move-in, we start building up to that move-in date even before the lease is signed. When they first reach out to us inquiring about apartment, we're already like thinking towards that move-in date and trying to build up towards that. So, after the lease is signed, there's the regular contact and check-in, similar to how Jason said. And then, like Jennifer said too, we do multiple checks throughout the apartment prior to move-in. We do at least 3 different inspections between maintenance, leasing, and management to make sure that everything is flawless and ready for their move-in date. And then at move-in, lately, a lot of our new residents have not even seen the apartment that they're moving into, because like I said, we haven't had those available to view when they did tour. So at move-in, we're taking the residents to their new home. We're walking them to it, showing them the best route from here's where we recommend you park. It's the shortest route. Here's the elevator. Here's the stairs. We provide moving carts and wagons to help get their stuff from the U-Haul or the pickup trucks up to their apartment. And then before they get there, we have moving gifts in the apartment ready to go. And it's things that they might not have thought about having at the top of their unpack list that they might need. So paper towels, toilet paper, soap, sponge, detergent. And we've recently started moving towards personalized wine bottles with Silk Factory Lost Paradise Management's name on it. So they really feel like they are being welcomed home the moment they open the door.
Ooh, I like that. Who wouldn't want champagne on move-in day?
Exactly.
Celebrate your new place, or sparkling cider if you guys, want to go that route too. So knowing again, similar to Jennifer, you have people who have moved into your community who has raved about the move-in day, and then months later raved again about something else. So having that echo from the same person saying it was just as good today as it was on day one just builds confidence in anyone who is considering your community. So really getting them to tell their story. So we're opening up the live Q&A. If you don't have the code, here's the code. You want to go to menti.com 436-76-264. And I'm going to do the final takeaways, and then we're going to talk about, we're going to look at the questions that have come in. So remember, prospects make contact because you are on their short list. They've vetted you, they've done their research, they got to that zero moment of truth. So as soon as they pick up that phone or send you an email, you know you are in the running. So we just have to, live up to that kind of online perception. Virtual can still be personable. You can still maintain that essence of an in-person visit. What the panelists had to say today is it's really a hybrid between the old school and the new school. Let them hear your voice, let them see your face, even if it's, on a screen. It's better than it just being 100% remote and it's that digital divide. And the move-in experience is going to impact how renters feel about their leasing decision. And it's also going to impact how other people decide whether or not you make their short list. So making sure that, not just closing of the leases, not just, providing that excellent service until they fill out the application, but extending that all the way through the first day and beyond is going to give you all, major benefits for the future. So I am going to just kind of flip over here to the questions. All right. So we have some questions. What does the engagement manager do? Jason, would you like to let us know?
Yeah, so the manager is really there to provide really any type of support that the new resident may need during their stay with us. So if they're having personal issues, if their rent situation changes, whatever, they know that they have that engagement manager to reach out to assist them.
Perfect. And is that contact made, is there any like video call or, anything like that, FaceTime with the new resident, with the engagement manager?
Yeah, within a few days of move-in, the engagement manager would reach out to the new resident, and they'll set up a quick 10 to 15-minute video chat just to discuss any concerns they may have with the apartment, and really just a quick check-in to see how the move-in went and make sure that they're satisfied.
Oh, okay. I like it. I love that title too, engagement manager. How do you, and I'll open this up to the group. How do you get people to commit to doing a virtual tour? They schedule them, but they get canceled at the last minute. Is there any way that you can like, you know, get them to hold that or keep that date and time that they set aside? Kara or Jennifer, we'll let you guys go first and then we'll jump in with Jason if he has anything extra.
One
Well, it's
thing that we'll try to, oh, sorry, Jennifer, go ahead.
no, that's okay. No, you can. We weren't really doing a virtual tour through our website. So, well, we have a gallery and a small tour. We were doing more self-guided tours than virtual. So maybe, Carrie, you want to take that question?
Sure, because we were offering Zoom tours and we still do. There's some people who are just more comfortable with that, or if they're moving out of state. And what I'll try to do is the morning of the tour, follow up with a text message just saying, hey, I'm looking forward to meeting you virtually. Hope you got the Zoom details. I will see you at such and such time. And I think when people realize that there is going to be a real life person on the other end of that virtual tour that is taking the time to show it to them, that kind of helps them keep the commitment then, rather than just, oh, I think it's going to be, the robo virtual tour. It doesn't matter if I cancel. Knowing that there's going to actually be someone there, I think helps.
Yeah, I think that's very similar to Jason, your pre-call that you talked about in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have automated messages that go out, reminding people that, hey, you have a virtual tour today. We can't wait to see you. But in addition, that pre-call really tackles some of that. So you'll know, 20, 30 minutes prior to that virtual tour, whether they're going to show up or not. And it's just a good way to gauge their true interest.
Okay, perfect. And I think I'm going to throw this one out. Kara, let's hear from you because I know you all are doing things virtually too, and we've heard from Jennifer on how they personalize the move-in. But if you aren't able to actually meet the new resident, are there any things that are is there anything that your team is doing to make that move-in more personable?
So I'm kind of taking this question as like we haven't met prior to their move-in date, and even with that, throughout the pre-lease and the leasing process, I've usually been able to kind of glean some individual, like personalized tidbits about that resident. So maybe their dog's name or their spouse's name, where they're moving from, the job that they do. And so at move-in, I'm going to pull up those details and ask them, oh, excited is your dog to move in? And using the dog's name. Oh, we've got some poop bags here for dog's name. Oh, your spouse is, coming down tomorrow. They've got their stuff, and just trying to really personalize, like, how was the drive from such and such, things like that, to make them realize they're not just another face, they're not just another person, but we truly do know a lot about them, and we're so excited to have them as our newest resident.
All right, that's a great question. Does anyone else have anything they like to add to that one? If not, it's okay. Okay. All right. Well, we are at the point where we are going to say thank you. Let me go back. Thank you to our power panel. We are looking for maintenance teams. So next month, the topic is maintenance. If there's anyone out there that has absolute rock stars at your community, in the comment section as you close out, please tell us about them so that we can connect with them. We have 2 spots open for next month, and we would love to feature your maintenance superstars. So, Jason, Jennifer, Kara, thank you so much for joining us. I just have one more slide left before I let you guys go. So, the contest. Remember, I said that we have a really neat contest. $50 giveaway for Starbucks. After the webinar, within an hour after the webinar, you want to go to our Facebook or Instagram and look for the post. We're going to put how this session was rated. So 4.1, 4.9, 3.2, I don't know, but we're going to have a rating post. All you have to do is like the post and comment with the money hungry happy face. And then do all of that by 5 p.m. Pacific time, and we will choose a winner tomorrow morning. So again, we're giving away $50 Starbucks gift card. All you have to do is like the post that rates today's session and give us that money hungry, greedy emoticon. So Jason, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
And Jennifer, thank you for your expertise as well.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
And Kara, thanks for all your good tips and tricks.
Thank you, Leah. I had a great time.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this power panel. Be on the lookout for our follow-up email, and we will be back on July 15th at 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific. So thanks again, everyone, and have a fantastic afternoon.
You as well. Thank you.
All right. See you next month. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.